What's up, guys? Welcome to That Freaking Geek. And today I decided I'll throw another top 5 list your way. This time I'll be talking about my favorite scary horror video games. And of course, as you know, what is it this weekend? It is Halloween weekend. You're probably watching this over the weekend, probably thinking to yourself, hey, I could maybe play a nice horror video game, something to get you into the mood, the Halloween vibe. And so in this, I'm going to tell you what I think the top 5 horror video games that have come out in the last decade, which means from 2011 to 2021, bit of a disclaimer. And these are my top 5. Let's get right into it. Starting off with number 5, and that is Until Dawn. When Until Dawn was announced, it was going to be a slasher video game where it is very character driven, very story driven, and how it's a video game is that you're going to be making a lot of the choices. And these teenagers go up onto a very snowy mountain, enjoying a nice holiday with each other, but little did you know that last year they did the exact same thing, except the owner of said house, his sisters passed away on that very same weekend. And so this is a kind of them going, cool, we need to go back, let's just honor their memories, but things go even worse than what happened the previous year. And you make a lot of decisions. It stars Rami Malek, which is fantastic, an Oscar-winning actor up in video games, which is absolutely fantastic. But what makes it so scary is that there is some sort of presence. It has very slasher vibes, classic slasher movie vibes, but it has its own twist. I think it's fantastic. It is a gorgeous game when it came out on the PS4, and I still recommend it today. It is a great movie, especially if you've got a bunch of friends around. Why don't you hook up that PS4, throw in Until Dawn, and enjoy a very fantastic video game where you probably got your way trying to kill your favorite and not so favorite teenagers. In 4th position, it is a game that came out in 2011, Dead Space 2. Now, Dead Space 1 set the standard of what a horror video game can be, and Dead Space 2 took it to the next level all the way back in 2011. So what is this game about? Well, basically you play as Isaac, and Isaac is stuck in space with these creatures that were made to make it look like you need to cut off their limbs. And so this is very much an action horror game. There's a lot of action going on, but what this game does so well is that it sets the atmosphere so well. This space station was designed for people to come through with their families and kind of go on a bit of a journey, but no, it's twisted, and it is now made into a space station thanks to some very bad medical things going wrong, and now it's infested with these creatures, these mutated humans that come after you in every way. There's even a scene where there's just randomly crying babies, and these baby mutated alien things just start attacking you. There's just so many different classic moments of classic horror video game moments in this game that I really couldn't not have this on my list. And so you haven't played Dead Space 2, it is a bit old, but you can probably play it if you've got an Xbox 360 or a PC. I really do recommend you go play it, and I'm really looking forward to the Dead Space remake coming out soon. In 3rd position, we'll be talking about a video game that was probably not that hyped up, considering that a lot of people were kind of burnt out from this franchise, and I'm of course talking about Alien Isolation. Came out in 2014. It was a time when the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One, PS3, PS4 kind of generation was kind of making their moves, and so it came out on both consoles, and so it was kind of suspicious, will this game be any good? And man oh man, was it fantastic. You play as Ripley, and she is once again stuck in a space station, and there is an alien chasing after you. This horrid dread of this xenomorph consistently lurking in the shadows, consistently wanting and hunting you. This game made me absolutely crap myself every time when I heard a little noise. For its time, it was incredibly gorgeous, and every moment where the alien came out, I couldn't believe. If you were watching me playing this game, you'd probably see my faces. They were looking absolutely terrified. And so if you haven't played this Alien game, it is one you absolutely have to. I really do hope they make a sequel to it one day. It has been a minute since it's been out, but if you're looking for a first-person game where you're getting literally hunted by a xenomorph, this is the perfect game for you. Moving on to second position, now we're going into the side of the video games. In my opinion, these top 2 games should not be played in the dark with headphones on. I repeat, if you want to play this game, by all means, and if you think you're a badass, fine, go for it. I think I was a badass and I was mistaken. I was very wrong. Starting off in second position, we're talking about Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. This game, when it first came out, it went back to Resident Evil's roots, and that is, instead of being action-adventure, kind of big explosions, Michael Bay video game, instead they went back to horror roots, but this time they're like, hey, we're gonna make it a little bit scary. We're gonna make it first person, and it became a lot slower, a lot less, boom boom bam, and more holy crud every minute. And this time you play as Ethan Winters, and you had a wife until she mysteriously died, and you have no idea why, until one day you received an email claiming that she is alive, but to not go looking for her. And so you trace back her steps, and he seems to have found her in a mansion in the middle of nowhere in rural America. Little do you know is that there is a very messed up family in this house, from a father that just won't die, to a mother that is buggy as hell, to a son that might as well be in the next Saw movie. This video game screams all different types of genres, all like cramped into one horrific video game. It is my favorite Resident Evil game, and if you have not played it, what are you doing? Especially if you consider yourself a horror fanatic, you really do have to go and play Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, because in my opinion, it is one of the best video game horror games right now. Alright, and to end this off, what would be number 1? I'm sure a lot of you, every time when I watch a top 10, top 5 list, I always think to myself, oh, they haven't mentioned this one, so it must be that one. So I don't know if you're doing that. If you're not, if I say the game that you didn't expect me to say, do you recommend you tell me in the comment section, hey Alec, you forgot about this game. There's a ton of great horror games out there that I didn't mention in my list. Might have been because I was too scared to play them, or it was just because I never got around to it. So why don't you let me know in the comment section where I went wrong, but more specifically where I went right, because the best video game that you can play would of course be a game that maybe you can't even play right now anymore. That's how scary it is. And of course I'm talking about PT. Hideo Kojima decided that instead of making a full-length game, I'm joking, he actually did want to start making it, but he had to he left Kojima, long story short. Anyway, but before he did that, he decided, instead of doing a trailer, let's do a playable trailer, and that's what PT stands for his next horror game. And it is absolutely bonkers. Like, every time when I see scenes or pictures or anything from this video game, I actually have to look away, because straight away it'll kind of just put me on a downward spiral of like, oh my gosh, that darkness there in the corner, what's there? Because I don't know how, but this game gets in your head. The funny thing is that the premise of the game is very simple. Like I said, it's a playable teaser, and so not a lot was actually put into the game. This was a tease of what Hideo Kojima was going to do in the full game, and you're literally just walking around in an endless loop. You go through one door, and you go through a very creepy corridor in a house, and you go down into the basement, open the door, and next thing you know, you're back in that same corridor. And that happens again and again, each time more scarier than the last. There's a baby, there is a very, very scary looking neck lady, and you just have to play it. And if you can't play it, unfortunately, it was taken off the PlayStation Store, but you can go and watch it on YouTube. And so maybe you don't play video games and you just like watching my stuff, and now you're like, oh, I really want to experience this. What I do recommend you do it, go on YouTube, Google BT, watch the full trailer, and you will be absolutely blown away about what it actually means to have a video game and horror kind of fused. This is the true meaning of horror, and that is PT. But that's it from me. Once again, I'm sure you may disagree with my list, or maybe you agree with my list. Whatever it is, I'd love to know your opinion. But that's it from me. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.